When I was between 8 and 12 years old, my dad forced me to do judo. Judo, it's a Japanese martial arts where the goal is to throw your opponent on the ground. And I hated it. I hated that shit. But my father believed that it was very good for kids to learn about balance and also how to fall safely. And I have to admit, looking back, the motherfucker was right. I have the right, I mean, don't be too hard on me for saying that. Nobody likes when their parents are right. And technically, he did, my mother. Anyway. How every course, so I hated it. You have to imagine, I was a chubby kid. I was very bad at sports. I couldn't run more than 15 minutes, like a small jog. I was very bad. And how every course would go every week was that first you would have the warm-up. I would sweat my ass. Then you would have exercises, and then would come the sparring part. And how the sparring would go was like all the kids from most of ages would align from the smallest to the tallest. And it was good because it made sure that the sparring was fair. But it also means that, statistically speaking, I would always end up with the same guy. And he was a fucking bully. Before every sparring, he was like, I'm gonna whip your ass. I'm not kidding. It was very frightening. And so the referee would come and say something like, sushi? Honestly, I'm very sorry, I don't remember the words. I really hated it. So I'm just gonna throw some random Japanese words. If you're Japanese, I'm not making fun of your culture, I'm just making fun of the fact that I cannot remember a few keywords. So the referee would come and say, sushi, means get ready. Sashimi, means start the sparring. And so I would come and then like try some few things, and then my bully would be like, I'm done with that. And then the next moment I would just be flying, and I would just lay completely karaoke on the ground. And so I think one day my dad saw me, and he saw me trying things and not succeeding, and he didn't like it. So when we arrived home, he came to me and said, Cyril, come to the garage, bring the belt. If you have immigrants' parents, you know what that means. I grew up in the French Caribbean, and in my time it was really normal that kids would get spanked. And the thing is, you couldn't outrun an ass whooping. I saw my neighbor try. His mother came from the house, yelled his name, he started bolting, running, she took out her shoes and threw it at him. And the black mother never missed. When a black mother shops for shoes, she's looking for three things: comfort, design, and low wind resistance. Now you know why black people run faster. So, I'm holding my belt in my hand, I'm bringing it to my father. My father takes the belt and ties it to a pilar. And you have the two arms of the belt, which are symbolizing the arm of my opponent. And my father showed me a move, like something like, I don't know, you take one arm, I don't remember, I hated it. And he tells me, you do this move every day, 30 times before you go to school, 30 times after you go to school. And I said, okay, I'm just a kid. When my father says something, and when your country allows to spank kids, you do what your father asks. And so I did it. My father would just check, like, did you do it? Yes, it's okay. Did you do it today? No, just go do it. Yes, done. And the week passed, and the next course arrived. It was the same thing. Warm up, exercises, and then came the sparring. And I think that day I made a little prayer to Jesus and asked, Jesus, please, not today. And he looked at me and said, little nigga, cannot help you today, I have more important things to do. If you're Christian, don't be offended. I think Jesus has the right to say the N-words. And so, same thing again, I'm against my bully. And the funny thing about life is that sometimes you just get used to get beaten. Just get used to it, just become part of the routine. I'm gonna go, and he's gonna beat my ass. Sushi, sashimi, and then something happened. I didn't do anything. My body did something. My body did the same thing it did every day, 60 times a day for the past week. Next thing I knew, my bully was flying in the air. I heard a very loud on the ground, and everybody in the course yelled together, "Ippon." It was a clean victory. It's the only Japanese word I remember from those courses. And my bully looked at me like, what the fuck happened? And I looked at him like, I don't know, man, I'm as confused as you right now. But then he realized, and I realized, and he got furious. And the thing is, it doesn't stop when one thing happened. It has to go on for 1 or 2 minutes. So he was furious, and I was happy. And it went on, and he beat my ass again. But I put up a fight. But I was happy. I was happy because that day, I did something I thought was impossible. I made my God bleed. And if you can make God bleed, there'll be blood in the water. And shark will come. I took it from Iron Man. I always wanted to say that. But I learned two important things that day. The first thing is that if you put a little training in something every day, you might be able to do something you thought earlier was impossible. It's one thing to know that if you train, you're going to get better. But it's another thing, and it changed something in my mind that day. If I put a little training in something, I might be able to do something I now cannot do and don't think I can do. And it's followed me all my life. I never liked judo, so I didn't put any more efforts in it. But it helped me later. I was still a fat kid, and I wanted to lose weight, so I started just exercising every day. And I lost 10 kilos in 1 month. I was a very bad singer, but I took courses on Spotify, and now I can go to a karaoke and not make a fool of myself. I was a very bad dancer. I didn't go into any club until I was 23. But one day I thought, okay, perhaps I can just learn to dance. It just requires a bit of training. And so I took salsa courses. And it was really hard. I was really struggling. But I told myself, okay, I just put some salsa every day, just do the basic steps. And then when I went to the course, then I could just focus on leading the girl. And so I became better. Then I started to go out and I could dance. And then girl came to me like, oh my God, you dance so well. You have this in your blood. I trained for this shit, okay? It helped me my whole life to learn German. Got my PhD. Anyway. Second thing I learned. I don't know who your bully is. Perhaps it's the fear of doing something. Perhaps it's your image in a mirror. Perhaps it's an addiction. I don't know who your bully is. But fight back. Fight back. You might not win that day, but it will lead you closer to the victory. It doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you don't stop. At least, that's my point of view. Arigatou gozaimasu.